Let's go live now, bringing in global affairs analyst Calvin Dark via Skype from Washington, D.C. in the U.S., as well as development consultant and security expert Cash Ononuju. He joins me in Abuja. Hello, gentlemen. Yes. So for you, we've seen almost every continent largely affected by this global protest. And then they seem to start small, but then the demands get wider. What's your analysis of the situation?
Well, I think that the main cause is whenever a government, no matter what stage of democracy it may be in, is not responsive to the people, then the people respond, which is the way government and people should work together, because they should represent the people. Now, for these protests that we have just been discussing that are happening all around the world, I think that there are two main reasons. The first is, here in the United States, one of the things we always say is you can't be what you can't see. That means that until you see other people in your same situation, dealing with and effectively changing their situation, it's harder for you to do it. And thanks to social media, this has allowed people who are literally on opposite sides of the globe to see other peoples who are fight against injustice, economic disparity, human rights violations. And when they're able to see it, they're able to be it. So I think social media is one cause. The other cause is this. As some people in our world, heads of state, move against multilateralism, like our president here, but not just him, several other examples, it's a reminder that one of the reasons that countries like the United States need to be active in the world and not just America first is it acts as a deterrent for governments that are trying to do things against the people. And so when the leading governments of the world aren't paying attention, then governments in other parts of the world try as much as they can, and that feeds into this lack of responsiveness from them to the people.
Let me also get your reactions, Calvin, before I move on to our guest here in Nigeria. In the case of Chile and Lebanon now, we've seen the government respond to the protests, saying they will do this and that. But largely the protesters have responded saying it's a little too late on the part of the leaders. And now they say they want them out anyhow. What's the assurance that this political vacuum that these protesters want would give them the change they desire?
Well, this is where I think it's going to take the international community to help and support the people in this case, Chile and Lebanon, as much as they can, because you're right. Sometimes that vacuum of power can be more dangerous than the current situation they're protesting against. I remember I was in Morocco when the Arab Spring began, just next door, almost in Tunisia. And I remember the feeling that the government was very unwilling to take big steps. And every time they were unwilling to take big steps, the protesters took even bigger ones that resulted in the toppling of leadership there and in other places. So that's what I think we're going to have to help these people do, is to make sure that power vacuum doesn't make things worse.
And to Calvin Dark, many thanks for your contributions on the program.